10 News at 5.
A countrywide ban goes into effect this week. Why gun owners can no longer use bump stocks on their semi-automatic weapons. And the Mueller report delivered to Congress today. What did the special counsel find? Plus, firefighters can't fight fires without them. That's why a neighboring town stepped in when Marion had to send 2 fire trucks to the shop. Hello, and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Randy Ayala. Starting next week, the bump stock device that can be attached to a semi-automatic weapon will officially be banned across the country. And those who already own the device aren't too happy about it. KLFY's Lester Dew has more.
This is the first time that I'm aware that there's no grandfather clause. So your property now must be destroyed.
The attachment used by the killer during the 2017 Las Vegas massacre and many other mass shootings will become illegal by Tuesday.
Just simply ride on the buffer tube, and what it does is it alleviates you having to pull the trigger. The firearm itself pulls the trigger and it accelerates your rate of fire.
The owner of Rustic Renegade, Caleb Moore, says his store does not sell the bump stocks. However, other gun shops across the country could be affected.
Now that's some lost revenue that they have on it, so they have to look at other products to bring in and other ways to entice their customers. But I do think, unfortunately, it's going to create a black market for them as well.
Bump stocks can only be utilized on guns like these. This is an AR-15 and this is an AK-47.
And the new one simply slides on top of it. It replaces your buttstock and your grip and simply rides forward and back, allowing you to touch the trigger without having to move your hand.
The ATF ruled bump stocks were illegal back in 2010. The Trump administration rolled out a federal regulation banning the devices last December. The government estimates that more than 500,000 have been sold in the U.S.
So now you're going to have a product that's illegal to own that I'm sure there's still going to be a demand for. And I know, and as well as many other people know, that not everyone's going to turn them over because no one wants to give up their property without due process.
That was Lester Dew reporting. Some gun rights groups are challenging the ban. They say the measure is an abuse of power. On to a crime alert. An Epps woman behind bars after 3 people were shot at a Lake Providence bar early Saturday morning. Louisiana State Police say it happened at Blackberry's Bar in Billards around 3 a.m. Cheryl Lewis died as a result. 2 other people in critical condition. 34-year-old Quinesiah Sanders turned herself in to detectives and was charged with second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder. Police have not yet released a motive. The investigation is ongoing. The Franklin Parish Sheriff's Office also investigating after they say a man shot and killed his estranged wife's boyfriend before turning the gun on himself. Sheriff Kevin Cobb says deputies responded to a 911 call around 5:45 Saturday morning on Burlew Road in Jigger. He says a female told deputies her estranged husband, 35-year-old Robert Lewis Little III, unexpectedly entered her home through a window and shot and killed her boyfriend, 38-year-old Sean Copeland, right before killing himself. The sheriff says Little went to a friend early that morning to borrow a gun under the pretense he was going hunting and confirms it is the same weapon used in the killings. This investigation ongoing as well. This afternoon, Attorney General William Barr released a summary of the principal findings in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. In a 4-page letter, the Attorney General says the report done by Robert Mueller did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. The Attorney General also said the Special Counsel did not draw a conclusion on the subject of obstruction of justice. The letter says while the report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it doesn't exonerate him. Robert Mueller sent the Attorney General a report about his investigation Friday, wrapping up a probe that lasted nearly 2 years. New at 5, the Winnsboro Airport undergoing some long-awaited changes. The airport recently got approval to start several projects that will improve its function. Some of that includes redoing the asphalt and adding more buildings to store the planes in. Airport manager Terry Shirley thinks the improvements will highly benefit Winnsboro.
It'll give us the ability on the national front to try to get new industries, new factories. The airport allows the CEOs of these large companies to come in and check on their businesses.
The improvements will also allow easier access for crop dusters and will mean more income for the city. One town down 2 fire trucks, a neighboring town stepping in, lending their own. NBC 10's Anna McAllister caught up with the 2 fire departments to learn more about the KIND Act.
The importance of loving your neighbor, shown to the town of Marion. When 2 of the town's fire trucks were in the shop, Formerville stepped in, lending 2 of their own.
It's unreal how important it is.
The impact one fire truck, let alone two, can make during an emergency situation is critical.
Probably ever what caught on fire would be burnt down before they got, before somebody else got here.
So to help, the Farmerville Fire Department is lending two of their own trucks to Marion. The gesture has been a relief, to say the least.
It's a relief of mine to me because I know I got something I can work with now. And having to wait 20 minutes is hard. You lose somebody's life or their home.
And the borrowed trucks also supply Marion with a much-needed pumper.
With those two in the shop, that leaves us without a pumper. And so that's the reason this one's critical to us.
We have water capacity, but to have an actual pumper truck is a life changer for us.
From one neighbor to another, Jimmy Caldwell wants to let his know what this gesture means to him.
Being generous as the town of Farmerville is, and also our other neighbor fire departments, they help to assist us with anything that we need, and we greatly appreciate them.
That was Anna McAllister reporting. Marion will continue to use the Farmerville fire trucks until their two trucks are fully repaired. More good news, a local community coming together to support the less fortunate over the weekend. On Saturday, Caldwell Parish held a benefit for struggling veterans, the homeless, and other members in the community needing some help. The event featured live music, free food, bounce houses, and even free haircuts. Jody Johnston put the whole thing together to show support for the people who have nowhere else to turn, pulling from very personal experiences.
A few years ago, I was down myself in life, and I'm to the point now that I can be able to give back to others. Everybody in the community always helps each other, and they're always going to be, I guess, one as a team.
Johnston and other volunteers came to the Recreation Center hoping to bring healing and a sense of unity to those who feel lost. A flight Saturday morning carried passengers from Texas to Delaware, only the passengers weren't people, they were dogs. Wings of Rescue has partnered with the Brandywine Valley SPCA to help rescue dogs from overcrowded shelters in Texas and Louisiana. These dogs, ranging from puppies to full-grown adults, are saved from euthanasia to find loving homes in Delaware. Wings of Rescue estimates that over 2 million dogs are euthanized every year, and they're hoping to help curb those numbers.
They'll be given food, water, walked by our volunteers, and later placed up for adoption.
Our flights aren't in scratch and sniff, but it's very calm. As soon as we hit 10,000 feet, it's like somebody threw a magic wand over the plane and everybody goes to sleep.
Wings of Rescue has already saved more than 3,000 pets over 35 flights this year. They're hoping to save over 12,000 dogs by the end of 2019. Coming up next, you may not remember who your high school prom king was, but for students at one Las Vegas high school, they say they'll never forget it. Why the night was so special for their prom king coming up.
And the potential for severe weather is increasing.